Plans unveiled for Harbor Island Park.
The latest on the Kemper Memorial move.
Why there may be sweeter music at the Hommocks Ice Rink.
The community raises money for victims of Tompkins Avenue apartment fire.
New places to go in Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
And how you can still buy Girl Scout cookies. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura, Carlin. Our top story. From seashell to bandshell, car to boat, ball field to tennis court, that and more is envisioned in the final Harbor Island Master Plan presented to the community in late April. This plan has been in the works for 3 years by the Harbor Island Master Plan Committee with community and park stakeholder input and reflects the draft plan presented in September 2003 and finalized in November 2003. Highlights of the plan include creating more space and fields in the center of the park by relocating the tennis courts and bubble behind the Westchester County sewage treatment plant and by reorganizing the existing athletic fields into the center of the park. An additional field would also be created near Boston Post Road, which would do double duty as an overflow parking area for special events. The new fields will also have better irrigation, drainage, and maintenance. The plan calls for 2 new playgrounds, perhaps with a nautical theme, and a performing arts bandshell or gazebo. A maritime village with the possibility of a museum or environmental education center, a square or village green with a fountain, boat lockers, new offices for the harbor master, and a new spot for the historic schoolhouse that's now on Boston Post Road. Parking will be changed from a large lot to several smaller lots and add a few larger parking spots to accommodate boat trailers. But it's that parking that has some residents concerned that there won't be enough space for boaters and that there will be a 28% overall reduction in available parking. According to village officials, the plan is expected to cost as much as $14 million and may take decades to implement.
The issue about relocating the Kemper Memorial in Mamaroneck is not going to be resolved anytime soon. As we reported on this program, the Mamaroneck School District's Board of Education wants to move the Kemper Memorial on the grounds of the Mamaroneck High School to make space for a new athletic field. Mamaroneck voters may now have an opportunity to indirectly show their position on this proposal. On May 18th, the school board's budget is up for vote. The total budget is almost $90 million, and the amount of $500,000 of this budget is allocated towards the move of the Kemper Memorial. The total anticipated costs are $1.3 million. The balance of the total amount will be part of next year's proposed budget, according to Board of Education President Robert Martin. The members of the Kemper family oppose moving the memorial. Their representative, Richard Cantor, told the Journal News, quote, "We're going to do everything we can to stop them," end of quote. According to him, the Board of Education has no legal or moral rights to change the location of the Kemper Memorial. School Board President Robert Martin also said that by including $500,000 in the budget, the Board of Education was just preserving its options and allowing it to go ahead with the relocation of the memorial in case it is approved. The budget proposal by the Board of Education is 9.5% above last year's budget, and this means a tax increase of 9.8%. Part of the budget is an increase in employee benefits of more than 20%. There is also a 27% increase for debt service on 5 construction projects. Under the contract with the Mamaroneck Teachers Association, an increase of 3.2% is also part of the budget.
The Rhinex School District has its budget for the 2004-05 year out, and it calls for a 9.2% tax increase and meets the district's goal of keeping the hike under 10%. 76% of their budget goes to salary and benefits, which go up pursuant to contract and represent the lion's share of the tax rise. In addition, the Rhineck district was compelled to add 7 new staff positions by state mandates and growing enrollment in the district.
According to the New York State Labor Department, jobless rates for the months of March went up in Westchester and Putnam counties. The total number of jobs based in both countries also went up. The unemployment rate for Westchester County was 4.6%, which was up from 3.9% for March of 2003. In Putnam, the rate was 3.5%, which was up from the previous year's rate for March of 3.3%. At the same time, private sector jobs in Westchester County increased by 1%, or 3,300 jobs. In Putnam County, the increase was 5.4%, or 1,000 jobs. While the unemployment rates in Westchester and Putnam counties are much lower than in New York City, the unemployment rate in the city dropped from 8.7% in March 2003 to 8.1% in March 2004. The corresponding numbers for the state's unemployment rate were 6.7% in March of this year compared with 6.5% in March of last year.
The Village of Mamaroneck's case to close the Mamaroneck suburban karting facility is heading to court soon. State Supreme Court Judge John LaCava adopted an expedited schedule by setting a hearing date for May 7th. According to the Times, village officials expect Justice LaCava to issue an order to close the 23-year-old station because of continuing and repeated Environment Code violations. But don't expect the case to be resolved quickly. Suburban Karting intends to defend itself and hopes to continue to operate the facility. You can look to Suburban to seek a temporary restraining order to block closure, and the legal wrangling will continue for many years.
The Hummock's Ice Ring in the town of Mamaroneck is going to get a brand new sound system. It will replace one that was installed in 1989. On April 21st, the Mamaroneck Town Board approved the new system. Sound Construction, Inc., based in the Bronx, will install the new system. The company made the lowest bid for replacing an amplifier, sound mixer, high-efficiency speakers, and the wiring and labor costs associated with the new installation. Funding for this project will come from the Hummock's Ice Ring Trust Fund. The Mamaroneck Town budget will not be affected by this expense.
You're invited to meet the candidates selected to run for 2 spots on the Mamaroneck School Board. Cecilia Absher and Janet Bookbinder, who were selected and endorsed by the Committee for the Selection of School Board Nominees, will be at Cafe Mozart on Mamaroneck Avenue in Mamaroneck on Thursday, May 6th from 7 to 8 p.m. to share coffee and conversation. The community is welcome and encouraged to attend.
Mamaroneck Village goes after landlord for overcrowding. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has the details.
Local task force has been created to crack down on overcrowding in village homes. A house on Halstead Avenue has been altered from a 4-family residence to include 5 more units. The fine for this violation may be set at $22,500, which would represent the largest fine issued in Mamaroneck Village. This owner has been cited before because of his overcrowding. Firefighters have been injured in other buildings because of this overcrowding. The number of mattresses in these dwellings hamper movement and creates a more smoky fire. Plus, mattress fires are hard to extinguish. This condition of overcrowding is becoming a county-wide issue. From Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Our community is helping out some fire victims. Here with more is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger.
I'm here at Frank's Place in the village of Mamaroneck, where the community has come together to support having a fundraiser for the fire victims. The fire that took place last month on 604 Tompkins Avenue, Evelyn Court Apartments. Everyone's come together. I mean, the community, the merchants have donated items. Frank's Place has donated their place to have the event. There's a band, there's food, there's fun, there's items that are being auctioned off. There's also raffles that can be bought. And the rain has not stopped anyone from coming here. That includes the firemen and the residents. Thank you, Terry, by the way, for holding the umbrella, who lives at Evelyn Court Apartments. And also, there's Felicia, who is a mom, and her her daughter's teacher lived in the building, and friends of hers lived in the building, and she donated her time to sell the raffle tickets this evening. So we're going to go inside. We're going to talk to Frank and Vince, who's the manager, and then we're going to cross the street and talk to the man who donated 30 pies the night of the fire.
Frank and the rest of the staff did a great job of helping everybody out that night, taking care of the animals, the people, and just giving a place to stay while they watched their homes burn down.
Yeah.
And I said to Frank when I came in a couple of days later, I said, I really want to try and contribute something. And I said, let's have a fundraiser.
And that's where we are tonight.
And that's where we are tonight. We've got a great turnout, a lot of people donating a lot of money. We've got a silent auction, we have raffles going on, and we just had people donate at the door. And it was
A door?
At the door.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
It's been a great turnout, and we're thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
I noticed this when you walk in, this is outside to donate. They need some money here.
And it's been full all night, and we've been thrilled with the turnout. And it's a great tribute to the community that people really came out just for this event. Actually, they just came out for this event.
And I'm here with Phil, the owner of Pizza Gourmet across the street. I was just telling you about some pies you donated that evening. Now, I used to live across the street, and I still have an apartment there. And I remember on Sunday evenings, you closed promptly at 9. And what time did you stay open till that night?
Well, it was about 1:30 when we closed.
That's a record, I think.
It is, actually. It is a record. We made some pies for the people that were looking at the fire. We brought them to the church, and we had some lovely ladies over here helping me out, making coffee, making tea, bringing it out, serving it to everybody outside, and they were wonderful.
I heard it was about 30 pies you donated.
It was about 30 pies, yes.
And
it's the least thing I could do, actually, for them.
That's a lot.
Well, not when it's a tragedy like that. It has nothing to do with one pie or 30 pies or 50 pies. It has, they've helped me out in business, to stay in business, to stay open, and it's the least thing I could do for them.
Well, that's wonderful. In fact, I was speaking to Felicia, and do you remember what you asked her when you saw her? You pulled her in to ask for help?
Actually, I don't remember.
I know. He actually asked this woman, Felicia, as I was telling you, who's selling the raffles, he said, you look like you have good coffee arms. And that's how
Well, she helped us a lot, a great deal, I gotta say. She went home and got the big coffee pots. We had about 4 of them, and she kept making coffee and bringing it to the firemen, the police, and all the people that were out there.
So you were pulling in volunteers then?
Yes, we were helping out. We were all helping out.
Well, on behalf of everyone at Evelyn Court, we thank you. That was really wonderful.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Reporting for Larchmont Moretti Community News at Frank's Place at the fundraiser for Evelyn Court, I'm Christina Bolger.
The fundraiser pulled in around $2,500 with contributions still coming in, but more is needed. If you'd like to help, you can contact Vince at Frank's Place on the Boston Post Road in the village of Mamaroneck or call 777-2002.
News on 1370 West Boston Post Road in our real estate corner with Larchmont Moretti Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The Ville Realty has been granted an exemption from the town in order to renovate the property at 1370 West Boston Post Road. This site will be leased to the North Fork Bank. The renovations will not impact on the site's footprint, but they will attempt to improve the interior and exterior. There will also be a ramp for anyone who needs easy access to the building. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Tea time in Mamaroneck. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schactel visited a new shop.
I'm here to welcome a new place to the Mamaroneck family of businesses, the Tea House on Mamaroneck Avenue. And I'm here with Shakar Bose. How are you today?
Good, I'm fine.
And I'm so happy that you've opened up the Tea House on Mamaroneck Avenue. Could you tell us a little bit about what brought you to want to bring something like this here?
For a long time I was thinking about to open a tea house where I can serve tea also coffee and spices to the community. And I live here, and I was looking for the right place, and I found this is the right place, which is near the harbor. And from the store, I can see the view of the harbor also. So I planned for a long time, and I said, okay, let me go for it. So I import all the teas, coffee also, and import all the spices. And I decorated myself, designed myself, color choice of myself. It took me about a few months to do it. And I'm very thrilled that everybody likes it. And I'm really passionate to make this go for a long way.
Well, I agree with you. It's a beautiful place that you've put together. As creator, owner, and proprietor, you mentioned while you were describing, even though the title is The Tea House, you also serve coffees, cappuccinos, and you have wonderful pastries, French pastries, right. Correct?
Yeah, and they supply every morning. There are 3 French pastry chefs. They prepare for me whatever I ask for, and every morning they supply. Just now, one guy already supplied. Another half an hour, there somebody will do some. And look at this. I like to serve the tea and the coffee in a nice tray, and so that people can brew and enjoy the tea and relax. My entire idea is people come here after a long day of work, which I also did, to sit down, relax, have a cup of tea and a little pastry, and enjoy themselves.
And you have beautiful music playing. It is a lovely atmosphere here. May I pour a cup of tea?
Yeah, sure.
This is very nice, and I see you've got all the great accoutrements of a tea shop, a strainer, and these are teas from around the world?
Right. This is the specialty coming from the Darjeeling, which is the highest peak of the Himalayan mountain towards when it comes to the garden, about 7,000 to 8,000 feet high, where the special Darjeeling tea, which is also called champagne of tea, that comes directly from the garden. They pick it up in the month of March and pack it up, and immediately they send it to us.
So people can also find out the philosophy and the history of teas, and I thank you so much for bringing this to our community, and I look forward to trying this. Yeah, sure. Once again, can you give the address, please?
143 Mamaroneck Avenue, Mamaroneck, New York. Phone number is 914-381-8019, and fax number is 914-381-8058. We also trying to get into mail order business.
Okay, so that is before you go to work, when you come home from work, or any time you just want to have a delicious cup of tea and sit in a wonderful place. Thank you so much for opening.
Thank you. Okay.
Here.
Let's
Cheers.
have a go with cheers, okay? Bye.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay.
For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schactel.
Hot dish at a new Larchmont restaurant. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger feeds us more.
There's a new restaurant in our community, and the name is Plates. It's located on Myrtle Boulevard in Larchmont. Now, it used to be formerly known as Carl's Restaurant, but there's new owners, Wendy Weinstein-Karp and her husband Matthew Karp. We're going to go inside and see what makes them unique. Rumor has it they have plates from around the world. We're inside Plates with one of the owners, Wendy Weinstein-Karp, and tell us about your other co-owners, your husband, correct?
Yes, my husband is Matthew Karp, and he is the executive chef and owner with me.
Now tell us about the significance of the name of Plates. Why?
Matthew and I traveled around the world, and we collected plates from every place where Matthew worked, where we ate, where we had a moment, where we experienced food. And in asking for the plate, we always told the restaurateur that we would put it in our collection in our home, and someday it would hang on the walls of our restaurant. And in fact, they do. From, that's right, South Africa, from Italy, from Jerusalem. We also have plates from New York City, where Matthew worked with David Boulay for 8 years.
The breads are freshly made daily also, correct?
Yes, Matthew makes the breads every day. He has his own yeast fermentation that he has to feed every day. In France, they call them the mother or sometimes the baby. And sometimes he's yelled down the street to me, "Don't forget to feed the baby," which doesn't mean our children.
Right, you know what that means.
Yes, exactly. It means add flour and water to the yeast.
Tell us a little bit about the wines that you have here.
From France, Spain, Austria, Germany, Italy. We're looking at Israeli wines as well. Really
Wow, it's
wines
exciting.
from all over, certainly.
Also, I noticed that you have my father-in-law is from Austria, Vienna, and I noticed that you have a couple of wines from Austria.
Sure, this is a Riesling from Austria. Nigel is the producer here. It's a very dry Riesling. This is a great wine with a lot of Matt's food, which is one of the things we tried to keep in mind with all the wines, was to not only pick interesting wines, but those that pair well with his food. And this wine would go great with shellfish, a lot of the different fish preparations that he has also as entrees. And it's a pretty good value at under $50.
Sounds like a bargain to me. You're the chef.
Chef and owner of the restaurant Place.
Correct. Wendy's, also known as...
Co-owner, that's right.
Right, Wendy's husband here. Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're cooking here?
This is East Coast black bass, which is in season right now. It's a beautiful white fish, firm fleshed. I put a spice blend on top of it, which is powder made from oranges, Hungarian paprika, and I served it with a spring risotto that has fava beans and very light, natural springtime vegetables. So it's a very light dish.
I'd like to know about your upcoming events.
On the 13th and the 19th, Chef Matt will be doing some culinary classes called Dining in Your Dining Room, taking you through a simple menu so that you can elevate your own eating experience at home into dining. On Mother's Day, we're going to be doing a lunch at noon, special lunch menu that Chef Matt will be putting together. And then we'll also be doing regular dinner service beginning at 5, and it's booking up quick, so it'll be a very exciting day.
Now, what time do you finish serving?
We'll serve till the last person is still hungry.
Oh, the community's going to like that. Give us the website.
Our website is www.platesonthepark.com. It has our menus, it has our wine lists, it has all these upcoming events that we're talking about. It tells you all the plates and shows them the collection to you. It tells you about the history of this building and the wonderful heritage.
I want to try Aunt Norma's recipe here.
Eggplant, roasted eggplant, and red pepper relish. It's good, isn't it?
Delicioso. Everyone, I think you should come in and experience this fine dining for yourself at Plates on Myrtle Boulevard in Larchmont. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
And if that's not enough food for you, Girl Scout cookies are here. The classic Thin Mint, Samoas, Trefoils, my personal favorite are the Tagalongs, Do-si-dos, and All-abouts are joined this year by a couple of new cookies. Double Dutch, a crunchy dark chocolate cookie with chocolate brownie taste and semi-sweetened milk chocolate chips, and by a reduced-fat lemon cooler. They should be arriving on your doorstep soon if you've already ordered yours. If not, you can still get them. Look for Girl Scouts and Brownies at Stop and Shop on Boston Post Road, the AMP in Mamaroneck, at Larchmont Art on Palmer Avenue in Larchmont. And if you miss the Cookie Girls or just want more, you can contact Pat Allen at 833-0547 or online at AllenJP, that's ALLENJP, at optonline.net, or Nancy Ossenfort at 834-5358 or online at NOWINDO@yahoo.com. Happy eating!
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show, and they will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program's an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Sven Oehme.
First. Former Larchmont chef is found dead.
Latimer won't run as Democratic leader.
We have the latest on the park swap.
The Harbor Island cleanup has gone high-tech.
And Con Ed seeks a rate hike. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the details surrounding the death of a former Larchmont chef. Christina?
Unfortunately, I have a sad story to report. If you ever dined at the popular Italian restaurant Fajey in Larchmont, on Larchmont Avenue, you would remember the owner and favorite chef, Sven Volage. Sadly, his body was found on Earth Day by volunteers in a wooded area in Bedford on April 24th. An autopsy confirmed his identity through fingerprint records. His body had received gunshot wounds and other injuries. Sven Volage was 42 years old and also known as Joe Vuli and Joseph Vulovic. He was reported missing on April 10th and had been seen last leaving one of the restaurants he owned in Danbury, Connecticut on April 5th. Larchmont resident Elaine Fauvelet told the Larchmont Gazette he was a kind man and appreciated when she asked the waiter if she could possibly personally compliment the chef. Fauvelet concluded saying, quote, "He was extremely modest but very proud of his cooking," end quote. Our condolences to his family, friends, and all who knew him. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Consolidated Edison has filed a proposal with the State Public Service Commission that would allow it to increase the rates on average by 6.7% per customer. The new rates would go into effect on April 1st, 2005. An additional $550 million in revenue would be raised during the first year of implementing the increase. For businesses, the increase would be 4.3%. The typical Westchester residential customer who's paying $86.21 a month currently would see an increase of about $7.93 or just over 9%. According to the utility, usage has increased by 20% during the past 10 years. This is based on an increase in the use of computers, printers, lights and air conditioning, bigger and better televisions, and other appliances. Con Ed says that it has to improve its distribution infrastructure. The money would be used for keeping up with the surging demand. Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano opposes the increase. His spokeswoman, Susan Tolchin, told the Journal News, quote, "The county executive obviously thinks electric rates are too high right now and doesn't think any rate increases warranted should be granted," end of quote. The State Public Service Commission has also received a request to increase the rates for natural gas by 10%. This increase that was submitted in March would go into effect October 1. For the average customer, it would add $25.80 to the monthly bill. For heating, the monthly bill for household using natural gas for cooking would go up by $3.76.
Well, a lot's been going on in Larchmont. The Village of Larchmont Board of Trustees approved the preliminary budget, which included an 8.5% increase in property taxes, 2% higher than last year's increase. A great deal of the hike has to do with the state's pension fund and health insurance increases. However, the board is preventing an even larger increase by taking advantage of a state program that allows municipalities to borrow funds. Larchmont's budget of $12 million this year is a $750,000 increase over last year, $9.3 million of it coming from the property tax levy. Other updates in Larchmont include renovations to the Metro North train station. The tunnel renovation is expected to be completed in June, and then the platform work will begin. Commuters are urged to exercise caution. Also in Larchmont, the board authorized Village Treasurer DeLuca to seek bids for 2 new garbage trucks to be used by the Joint Sanitation Commission. In addition, the Streetscape project has gone out for bid, and the village is looking for a construction manager for the project. Local residents are encouraged to apply or suggest candidates. If you are a Town of Mamaroneck resident seeking a Lot 3 permit for overnight parking at the Larchmont train station, you may be interested to know that 50 more permits will be available. Just stop in and see the village clerk to apply. And you may see geese police, dogs at local parks and fields to cut down on the Canada geese population. And last but not least, if you're wondering what to do with old eyeglasses, consider donating them to the poor. May is Eyeglasses Recycling Month, and Larchmonters can leave their unneeded specs in the Larchmont Lions donation box at the post office. Now, with the latest on the park swap vote, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
On May 3rd, the Larchmont Village Board decided, by a vote of 3-2, to turn down a proposal by Brian Morris to swap his family's undeveloped property on Palmer Avenue for a pocket park 2 doors down near Parkway. Voting to disapprove the proposal were trustees Marlene Colbert, Ann McAndrews, and Mike Weiner. Trustee Liz Feld voted against the disapproval, but expressed support for the swap. And Mayor Ken Bialo also voted against the disapproval because he was opposed to taking the vote on May 3rd before a reappraisal of both properties could be made. The vote ended a 2-year effort by Mr. Morris and his family to reclaim land they originally owned and build a house there. If approved, the village would have taken ownership of a slightly smaller property and turned it into a small park. Even though few people admitted to using the existing park or even knowing it was there, some neighbors campaigned vigorously to keep it, even improve it. Other neighbors agreed to let the village trustees make the decision. For the past few weeks, it's been a pitched battle, but now it's over, and people who attended the May 3rd meeting were heard talking afterwards about mending fences, solidifying the neighborhood, and fixing up the existing park. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
County Democratic leader George Latimer has decided not to run again. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray with the details surrounding his decision.
District 7's Westchester County legislator George Latimer has decided not to run again for the chairmanship of the county's Democratic Party. Legislator Latimer believes these 2 roles present conflicts to the people. First, there is, of course, a conflict of time, as well as a role conflict. Legislator Latimer believes there are times when he's speaking to an audience, the people may have difficulty in differentiating his role as elected official and party chair. Legislator Latimer has served as the chairman of the County Board of Legislature. He left that position to attempt a run for lieutenant governor of the state. Latimer will continue to serve the people of Rye City, Mamaroneck, Larchmont, and a small area of New Rochelle. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Construction plans at Larchmont's Flint Park have come to a halt with the death of the village's park consultant. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schactel has more.
I'm sorry to report the recent loss of Monroe Eberlin, a valuable and very revered member of the Larchmont community. He was 84 years old. Mr. Eberlin was the village park consultant. His career spanned over 60 years, and currently he had been involved in new construction plans for Flint Park, which included creating waterfront access and the expansion of the playing fields. Larchmont Mayor Ken Biala was quoted as saying, "He was wise and gentle with people, but he was firm in his views." He went on to say, "While his life may be over, Eberlin's vision for Flint Park will live on." Larchmont Village has chosen Flint Park for this year's Arbor Day celebration. The event, nicknamed Bark for the Park, will include food, music, crafts, and fun. Event spokesperson Wendy Weinstein Karp has planned a beautiful 3-row grove of newly planted larch trees, the tree that our town has been named for. These trees are also an endangered species. Karp is quoted as saying, "The kids come away with the idea that trees are worthy of our time and effort." And she goes on to say, "It is a great day that has a lasting effect on people." Village officials have overseen the planting of 85 new trees in 2003, and 85 more will be planted this year. The National Arbor Day Foundation has named Larchmont Tree City, USA. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schactel.
The Westchester Solid Waste Commission fined Allied Waste, which is the parent of the Mamaroneck Suburban Carting, 2 weeks ago. The fine settles violations for the dumping of industrial waste at locations in Mount Kisco, Croton, and Mamaroneck. The dumping of such waste at these locations was not permitted. However, the fine originally amounted to $446,000, and it has now been reduced to $125,000. A portion of the fine, $100,000, has already been paid to the State Department of Environmental Conservation. As you may recall, we recently reported on the legal action that the village of Mamaroneck is undertaking to close the transfer station on Fayette Avenue. We'll continue to follow these developing stories.
Well, the cleanup of Harbor Island has gone high-tech. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch has the details.
The sewage treatment plant at Harbor Island will begin using new technology in September to further reduce pollution in the Sound. The plan calls for new antibacterial components that will use chemicals to eliminate harmful nutrients on a wider surface within the aeration tanks that are part of the county's sewage treatment process. After 6 months, tests of the water quality will determine if the new technology works. This, according to Anthony Landy, the Commissioner of the County Department of Environmental Facilities. The Mamaroneck Harbor, which sits near the treatment facility, has had severe pollution problems over the past few years, causing long-term beach closures. This new cleaning system has been approved by the state, which also issued permits for similar treatment in Portchester and the city of Rye. But those programs won't likely get off the ground until the results are in from Mamaroneck and New Rochelle, a second site for the 6-month test. The goal? To reduce the collective amount of nutrients by 61% within 10 years, says Commissioner Landy. Testing will cost $1 million in Mamaroneck and $2 million in New Rochelle. These two plants are the largest producers of nitrogen in the county's sewage system. The nitrogen essentially cancels out the oxygen in the water, creating a condition called hypoxia that kills marine life. Mayor Philip Trifoletti says the village is working very closely with the county and hopes that when testing is completed, the county will not have to expand its plant further into Harbor Island Park. He says the facility already takes up a substantial part of the park, any expansion would hurt residents. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
Don't forget the school budget vote is coming soon, and with some dates and times, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fajey.
On Tuesday, March 30th, the Mamaroneck School Board passed the 2004-2005 school budget. The final budget totals came out at approximately $90 million, which became a 9.84% tax increase over the last year. There are two candidates for the two open seats on the Board of Education. The candidates are Cecilia Absher and Janet Buckbinder. The vote is scheduled for Tuesday, May 18th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at all the elementary schools. The school board has set up several informal coffee meetings. Please contact Public Information Director Joan Rosen at 220-3070 if you would like to attend. Don't forget to go out and vote on May 18th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fajey.
Residents of the Rhine Neck section of Mamaroneck Village are facing the revaluation of their homes for tax purposes. 11,000 homes in Rye Town have been assessed. According to the company MJW Consulting that is administrating the revaluation process, it is not yet possible to determine how the taxes may change. Residents should also keep in mind that the assessment itself does not determine the amount of the property tax bill. It is based on the budgets that are submitted by the communities and the school districts. Apparently, an estimated 5% of homes are currently undervalued, while another 5% are overvalued. Alyssha?
And with your weekly news about real estate, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Location, location, location may be an important factor in purchasing real estate. However, inventory, inventory, inventory is also another major factor. The median price for a single-family home, condominium, and co-ops rose to record heights the first quarter of this year. There were 1,925 property closings in Westchester County between the months of January and March. The median price for a single-family home rose 9.4% from a year ago to $574,900. The median price for a condominium rose 13.4% to $312,450. And the median price for a co-op jumped 17.4% to $135,000. These numbers tell us it is still a seller's market. Some realtors think a 30-year fixed mortgage may rise to 6.4% at year's end. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And the families of the Evelyn Court Apartments on Tompkins Avenue in Mamaroneck still need the community's donations. They're looking for twin beds, twin blankets, queen bed blankets, children's books, children's games, or you can give cash donations or gift certificates from any local grocery store, hardware store, such as Foley's, Brewers, Home Depot, Linens and Things, Walden's Books, children's clothing stores, Sears, JCPenney. You can drop off donations at Frank's Place on Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck or call 777-2002 and ask for Vince. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And just a reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. And whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m., and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. And don't forget to visit the local elementary school fairs going on this month. Check street signs for more details. Kemper Memorial controversy continues.
Mamaroneck Village approves the budget.
2 new fields at Saxon Woods may be possible.
LMC-TV Awards Night is fast approaching.
And students walk in memory of a former student. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Mike Witsch.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. The Mamaroneck Board of Trustees has adopted a budget of $23.5 million. The dollars equate to a tax increase of 5.9%. That means for every $1,000 of assessed property value, it will call for a $226.60 increase. The budget, which is low in comparison to the budgets in other municipalities and to the county budget, is a result of putting many purchases on hold. However, Mayor Trifoletti said in the Times that the cuts will not impact residents. The budget reestablishes the position of Assistant Village Manager and also supports ongoing projects like replacing bulkhead at Harbor Island, improving sanitary sewer lines, and construction of a new 2-company firehouse to be built on Palmer Avenue.
Statewide school budget votes and board elections are fast approaching. Next Tuesday, May 18th, in fact. In Mamaroneck, the school board's proposal to move the Kemper World War II Memorial to make room for an athletic field continues to spark controversy. It's been reported that opponents are trying to convince at least 600 voters to vote no on the budget, which includes partial funding for that project. Meanwhile, parents and PTA groups are urging residents to vote yes. Richard Cantor is a vocal opponent of the plan to move the park and memorial. He's the grandson of park donor Adolf Kemper and nephew of the memorial's namesake, Richard Kemper. Recently, he compared the Kemper Memorial to the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., arguing that local families have come to Kemper Park for many years to pay their respects to those whose names are engraved on the memorial but are buried in other places. Nancy Winkelstein, representing the Parent-Teacher Council, has a different view. It's not easy, she says, to balance the needs of the Kemper family, the families of fallen World War II soldiers, and the current needs of the school district's students. But, she says, all of the individual PTAs voted recently to support the school board's plan and the budget of almost $89.5 million, a 9.8% increase in expenses over this school year. In neighboring Rye School District, there seems to be no controversy surrounding their proposed budget of almost $26 million. Both districts have a website containing a clear explanation of the spending plan. In Rye that represents a 9.21% increase in expenses over this year. For details from both school districts, go to their websites. In Mamaroneck, it's www.mamkschools.org, and in Rye-Neck, the website is www.ryeneck.k12.ny.us. So in Mamaroneck, where voters will elect 2 members to the board, both running unopposed. Next Tuesday, May 18th, is voting day for both districts. Polls will open at 7 in the morning and be open until 9 p.m. Mamaroneck school voters will go to their local elementary schools. Rye-Neck schools voters will cast their ballot in the middle high school building.
Well, Mike, 2 new fields at Saxon Woods may be a possibility for the town of Mamaroneck. And here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schactel with the details.
Saxon Woods may have 2 new fields, thanks to our own supervisor, Valerie O'Keefe. O'Keefe, a frequent guest on LMC News, has been in contact with Westchester County Executive Andy Spano. The issue is the possibility of creating 2 new sports fields in Saxon Woods Park. Supervisor O'Keefe has received support from the villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, along with the school board regarding this project. Executive Andy Spano and O'Keefe, plus many local and town officials, have met and discussed this idea 3 times in just the past month alone. Supervisor O'Keefe is quoted as saying, "Mr. Spano has been very receptive and helpful." And she went on to say, "I've gotten signals that this is a real possibility. In the town, we've had very good relationships with the Planning County office." And she continues by saying, "They've worked with the councilwomen, Nancy Seligman and Phyllis Whitner, along with the town administrator, Steve Altieri. They know we're serious and do a good job. George Latimer has been helpful on county matters, and I think we're all on the same page here. Keep tuning in for further developments. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schactel."
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has information about parking and safety at Murray Avenue School. Maura?
If you've ever driven on Murray Avenue mornings between 8:30 and 9 and afternoons from 2:30 to around 3, you know it can take 10 minutes to go 1 block as kids get into and out of cars. And perhaps you've also zoomed into the opposite lane to get around the slow cars, or maybe you double park when dropping off the kids. Well, if so, you're part of the traffic nightmare that the Murray Avenue School PTA is asking the town of Mamaroneck to address. In a letter to Town Administrator Steve Altieri and followed up in meetings with and among the Town Traffic Committee and the Town Board, the Murray PTA made several requests to help ensure the safety of students. According to Sue Kettig, Vice President of Traffic and Safety for the Murray Avenue School PTA Executive Board, because cars often speed up Murray from town unaware a school zone is fast approaching, the PTA suggested a school zone blinking light to get cars to slow down before needing to slam on brakes. Second, the PTA has asked that a crossing guard be deployed at Bryson Street and Murray Avenue to encourage walkers at what can be a dangerous intersection. Third, the PTA has asked that the town essentially enforce existing traffic and parking regs, that drivers not leave their cars in the no parking zones in front of the school, or double park or double stand on Murray Avenue, or go around cars that are blocking traffic. And in the last couple of weeks, Town of Mamaroneck police officers have been out in force ticketing violators. The PTA does want to thank the town police for their efforts, but recognizing that daily patrol by police probably isn't practicable, the PTA also requested that a traffic monitor, like that in the village of Larchmont, periodically enforce the code. So what can you do? Well, if you can, avoid Murray Avenue during school drop-off and pickup hours. Second, if you can, walk to school. This week, May 17th to 21, is Walk to School Week. See you out there walking. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
High school students walked for the Make-A-Wish Foundation in memory of a former student. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has more.
Recently, Mamaroneck High School Student Council sponsored its second annual event in memory of their classmate, Talia Cohen. Talia passed away during her sophomore year in November of 2002. The students organized a walkathon that took place at the high school's track. Their goal was to earn funds to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Talia's wish that the foundation made come true was sending her and her family to meet the Australian Olympic swim champ Ian Thorpe in California. Talia's mom, Naomi Cohen, told the story of her daughter's wish. To make a donation, send a check to Make-A-Wish Foundation, care of Mrs. Barbara Rosenblum, Mamaroneck High School, 1000 West Boston Post Road, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
And don't forget that you're all invited to the 15th annual LMC-TV Awards Night Extravaganza. Join in the fun and festivities honoring those who have helped LMC-TV through another successful year.
There's sure to be music, laughs, and of course, the results of the 5th Almost Anything Goes short video contest, and there's still time to enter. The date is Wednesday, May 26th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Emmeline Theater. Admission is free, and we hope to see you there. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, Channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started about 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Mike Witch.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. And don't forget the school budget votes on Tuesday, May 18th. State has halted the case against suburban carting.
The school budget passes.
Rubble on Boston Post Road is explained.
Mamaroneck Library receives gifts.
And we have the latest on the Mamaroneck Village Street Fair. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. With the results of the Mamaroneck school budget vote, we go to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
It was close, but in the end, the Mamaroneck School District budget passed by 76 votes. The final tally was 1,520 votes for and 1,444 against the $89.5 million budget with a 9.86% tax hike. This year's vote brought 900 more people to the polls than last year when the school budget passed by a more than 2-to-1 ratio. A rallying cry for opponents of this year's budget was the inclusion of $500,000 to move the Kemper Memorial to make room for a varsity-sized sports field. School Board President Bob Martin, in a public statement, expressed gratification that the community supported the budget to allow the schools to continue to focus on their main objective, providing students with the excellent and diverse education they deserve. Mr. Martin did, however, go on to acknowledge the narrow margin of approval and the effect of the Kemper Memorial issue, stating, and I quote, "It is our sincere hope that with the approval of this budget, our community will be able to move forward in a cooperative spirit, with all groups playing an important role in the district's ongoing plans and decisions for a new playing field, the Kemper Memorial, and other district-related issues," end quote. Now, in addition to the budget, voters also elected school board members, incumbent Cecilia Absher and new member Janet Bookbinder. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch had an opportunity to meet with Mamaroneck Village Manager Leonard Verrastro in our studio to discuss Mamaroneck Avenue, the street fair, and Harbor Island. Mike?
Lenny Verrastro, thanks so much for coming on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Congratulations, too, because you're now the official village manager. I think this is the first time on the air for you.
Yes, it is, actually, since I've been appointed as of November 1st officially.
So what's it like? What's the difference between being a clerk and now a village manager?
I think the biggest difference, Mike, was more day-to-day contact with residents who contact your office and dealing more directly with the Board of Trustees on many of the projects and issues that are going on in the village.
And did your arm have to be twisted a little bit to take that village manager's job? There were some rumors going around.
I think finally, after going through this process pretty much a little over a year ago, I think at this point in my career I was actually ready to step up to the plate.
Good, good. And so far it's been?
So far, it was a struggle until we hired a new clerk treasurer back in February, Dennis Brusciani. But he's been on board now for 3 months, so I'm more or less getting into the full role of village manager, and I think I'll end up enjoying it.
Good. Terrific. Do you get that chauffeur-driven car and the police escort and all that stuff?
No, not quite.
No, not in the village?
No, no.
No. Listen, I asked you here tonight so that you could give us an update on some of the things that we see happening in the village. For instance, Mamaroneck Avenue.
Yeah, as has been happening, I guess about, it was a year ago, we had the rededication based on the new streetscape. And as a matter of fact, this week we're now adding, which has been a long-time vision of the mayor, we're hanging new flower baskets from, I believe it's every other light pole, the new light poles that were put in.
And that's going from the train station down to the harbor area.
From the train station down to the Boston Post Road.
And what about the area that's toward the thruway? Is that now being included in the renovation?
Well, currently the County of Westchester is doing a whole resurfacing job on that end of it, pretty much starting near Volunteer Firehouse, and it's going all the way up to Bryan Avenue in White Plains.
Wow.
So this week they're going to finish milling, and then next week they're going to start the repaving, and they've been in already redoing curbs and curb cuts for ADA accessibility. So it's been moving along pretty well.
And you mentioned the dedication last year. That was part of the historic street fair, the first one we had in the village, which was terrific. I played the role of a famous Mamaroneck resident.
And it was a very exciting event and an exciting day.
And it's happening again, isn't it?
Yes, this coming June 13th, will be the second annual street fair. There's been many committee meetings. Again, thankfully, Sonny Goldberg and Carolyn Pomeranz have agreed to co-chair it. I don't know how they do it, but it's a yeoman's job.
They put in a lot of energy and a lot of time. And that connects in with Harbor Island. What's going on with the master plan? Can you update us on that?
Yeah, the final master plan document was presented by the Harbor Island Master Plan Committee to the Board of Trustees back in April. And I know that the board is going to be scheduling some public hearings to get public input on the plan. And hopefully, by the end of the summer, adopt that plan. And Mayor Trifoletti was speaking about forming a committee to oversee the implementation of the plan, which is going to be, I guess, a 10 or 12-year project.
Now, I've watched several of those meetings at the Emmeline Theater, for instance, where the architects, I guess, were talking to residents and answering their questions about what they'd like to see at Harbor Island. So there's been already a lot of citizen input on that.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of citizen input. There were two big group sessions, one held at Mamaroneck High School and one at Rye Neck High School, where the citizens actually broke up into little users groups and coming out with their own ideas. Now, there was a great deal of input that went into that final document. And I think all the interested parties that utilize Harbor Island were heard from.
Terrific. And at the other end of Mamaroneck Avenue, at Columbus Park, there's something going on the day before the historic fair, is there not, this year?
Yes, the Columbus Park area was just recently redone and completed under a community development block grant program. They put in new walking paths, new lighting, new playground equipment, new benches and waste baskets. So the park is going to be rededicated on June 12th at 10 a.m. And we hope to have a nice turnout of residents in the area. And this is just another piece to the beautification of that whole stretch of Mamaroneck Avenue.
Thank you for coming. You've got the newsletter that I just got as a resident, and that's got all kinds of information in it, doesn't it?
Yes, the newsletter comes out 3 times a year, and we've been expanding on it and including some additional groups. There's some information in here from the village historian, the Emmeline Theater, LMC-TV, the Garden Club, and we've put in inserts. One is for the Historic Harbor Street Fair with information on that. And then also the Village of Mamaroneck announced their new recycling program for weekly curbside pickup of organic waste.
Wow. We're going to talk about that when you come back in a little bit on LMC Community News.
Thank you.
As we have reported before, the village of Mamaroneck is trying to obtain an order against Suburban Carting to suspend all activity at their transfer station site on Fayette Avenue. The court date was scheduled for May 7th, but it was adjourned. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and village officials and representatives of Suburban Carting met at the end of April. The Department of Environmental Conservation is currently reviewing a plan submitted by Suburban to install an odor compression system for the transfer station in the village. Such a system will probably cost about $500,000. Suburban Carting now has until May 25th to respond to the village's request to close down the transfer facility in Mamaroneck. After that, the village has until June 10th to respond to Suburban's arguments.
Well, the Mamaroneck Library received 2 generous gifts. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin to tell us more.
Good news for the Village of Mamaroneck Library. Recently, in celebration of National Library Week, A&E Television and Cablevision donated a collection of 150 biographies and another collection of DVDs with over 65 hours of programming. The DVDs included programs on Benedict Arnold, The Impressionists, a biography of Bob Dylan, and more titles in Spanish, such as one on Pancho Villa. In addition, with the support of a grant from the Westchester Arts Council and Friends of the Mamaroneck Library, there is a 3-dimensional mural that is now hanging outside the community room, courtesy of a young group of artists from kindergarten through 6th grade, under the direction of Mamaroneck artist Jill Parry. The mural depicts the village of Mamaroneck's central visual and geographic landmark, Harbor Island Park. The larger work is composed of squares, each a work in itself that shows a part of the park, including activities likely to occur there. There are squares with boaters, fishermen, swimmers, soccer players too. The children were very creative, using silver netting and other fabrics to produce a colorful and multi-textured effect. So make sure you get over to the Mamaroneck Library and enjoy these generous gifts. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
And we now go to the second part of our interview with Mamaroneck Village Manager Leonard Verrastro, who was in our studio and talked to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witsch.
The last time we were talking about the organic waste pickup program. This is new in the village, right?
Yes, it was just implemented as of the first week in May, where we finally have gone to residential curbside pickup of organic waste, which is comprised of grass clippings, branches, weeds. The Committee for the Environment has been working on this for quite a while, and it's finally been implemented, which will reduce our waste stream and end up saving the village money, because it's costs us much less, almost half the cost, to get rid of organic waste compared to regular solid waste.
And is the pickup schedule posted in the village newsletter?
Yeah, because it's pretty easy to follow. It's on your second regular pickup day, which is either a Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
So it'll be done every week. If there's an exception due to a holiday week, it'll be posted on our website. I hope most residents know that we have a website, and they can always check up on that for what's new and if there's any changes in recycling or other village programs.
And is this organic pickup, is that mandatory or is this optional?
Well, it's being it was mandatory, and the way we were handling it was people could bring it to our recycling yard, and gardeners were requested, where people had landscapers and gardeners, they were also requested to bring it. And actually, the pickup of our leaves and disposal of leaves had been keeping us in compliance, but this was the next step that the village had to take.
Okay. And I'm reminded when you talk about organic waste, about the sewer project in Mamaroneck to find problems with the sewer lines that eventually will then lead to even more improved water quality in the Sound. How's that coming?
Yes, under a consent order that was issued a few years ago, the village had 132 known sites that had to be corrected. And last year we started, and it's being spread over 4 years. So we started that process of slip lining and repairing these sites. And as a matter of fact, the board has already appropriated the money to begin on the next year's cycle, so we're actually ahead of the game. So in 4 years, those 132 sites should be taken care of, and as other sites come up, we will also repair those. And this past year, the village also bought a new camera for our sewer department, so we can actually do our own televising rather than bring in an outside contractor. And this should also assist us.
Terrific. And how's the firehouse project coming along?
Yeah, the project for the new firehouse, we just had our first initial meeting last week with the architect that was selected by the village, H2M out of Long Island, after a long RFP process and interviews. So that is finally up and running, and hopefully it should move rather quickly, and we're hoping to begin construction a year from now.
Good. And last but not least, I know you wanted to mention the World Tennis coming to Harbor Island this summer.
Yes, we're very pleased. World Team Tennis is returning to Harbor Island in July. There's 7 home dates. Again, it's the New York Sport Times is the team. I'm not a big tennis fan, but I did enjoy some of the matches last year in a small venue. It was very exciting. You're very up close to the court, and I think most of our residents enjoyed it and had a fun time down there.
So we're not going to see you playing?
No, I don't think
so. Any other village officials scheduled to play?
I know last year Mayor Trifaletti hit out one of the first balls, but I don't think there'll be any local officials in the matches.
You never know. Don't rule yourself out. Hey, thanks again for coming on Larchmont and Mamaroneck Community News.
Thank you. Hope to be back again.
Metro North just released its on-time performance numbers for March 2004. On average, the New Haven line is the worst performing line of the Metro North system, including the Harlem, Hudson, and the New Haven lines. During the AM period in March 2004, trains had an on-time performance of 95.5%, which is well below the system-wide average of 97.2%. The afternoon performance on the New Haven line was somewhat better at 98.6%, but still below the average for the system of 98.9%. On weekends, Metro North trains also have an on-time performance that is below the system-wide average. Trains were on time 97.7% compared to the system-wide average of 98.5%. A train is on time when it arrives 5 minutes and 59 seconds within the scheduled arrival time. While you are waiting for those late trains to arrive, it is better to do so in a nicer environment. Metro North is continuing its train station makeover program, starting a 2-year project at Larchmont train station. The total cost of the renovation is going to be $12.4 million. Work is scheduled for completion in January of 2006. During an 8-month period, Track 3, which is the New York-bound track closest to the platform, will be closed. Bridge plates will allow access to trains that will stop on the New York-bound express track. New elevators will be installed, and a new overpass will connect the lifts to the parking deck. In addition to a rebuilt station office and waiting area, new bathrooms, lights and benches, gutters, canopies, there will also be a huge piece of art installed. There's going to be a 40 by 60-foot glass mosaic mirror. It will be installed on the back wall of the new waiting area. Alyssha?
Sounds like it'll be beautiful when it's done.
We'll actually be happy to wait for the train.
I know, and I live right near the train station, so I have seen you do need to be careful.
So you have a better view.
Be alert, yes. Well, you may have noticed that the old Cook's restaurant, also home to Nathan's and Ming's on Boston Post Road, was recently demolished. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch with more.
The big windmill, visible for decades on Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck, has disappeared. In fact, the entire building is gone, demolished, making way for a Commerce Bank and a Duane Reade's drugstore. The lot across from Trader Joe's is mostly screened off from view, empty when we visited, except for a backhoe and some dumpsters filled with broken pieces of the landmark building. Cook's, then Nathan's Famous, finally Ming's Chinese Buffet, all just town history now. From the looks of things, construction of the new bank and drugstore is already underway. The developer is Melron Amusement Corporation, which operated the game parlor in the building. Neighbors bordering the site have been monitoring the project since last fall, claiming that the town is putting Melron's interests above theirs. They cite the town boards agreeing to the project in the first place, despite a moratorium on commercial development in that area. In the past few months, neighbors made their case before the town's zoning, planning, and architectural review boards, arguing for smaller buildings, better traffic control, and tall trees to screen their homes from the new buildings. We'll see the results soon enough. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schactel met with Mamaroneck Village Street Fair organizers Carolyn Pomeranz and Helen Rafferty to talk about the upcoming event. Amy?
I'm here with Carolyn Pomeranz and Helen Rafferty. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And we get to talk about the upcoming event, probably the best event of the season in Mamaroneck, the historic Harbor Island Street Fair. And Carolyn, I know you've been working hard as the event coordinator. Tell me a little bit about, just some of the things that are going on.
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm a co-chair with Sonny Goldberg, so I don't want to take all the credit, but we also have 16 committees with over 300 volunteers that are working to make this event possible. It's a stroll through history in the village of Mamaroneck, starting in the Harbor Island Park, with 4 tall ships and the Revolutionary War encampment and the Civil War encampment, and they're going to have a skirmish. Both sides of the Civil War are coming this year for the first time. And we have a music tent. We have it's a story grove with an Indian, Native American Indian storyteller, and people will be up and dancing. We have a librarian from our Mamaroneck Library who will tell stories also in the story grove next to the playground. And we have a music, I said the music tent, but also a water pavilion.
Water pavilion, tell me about that.
It's called It's All About Our Water, and there's 14 nonprofit organizations that are going to be under a big tent, and they're bringing like the Norwalk Aquarium from Connecticut.
Yes.
They're going to bring touch tanks and teach kids about pollution soup and all about water quality. And most of the groups have a similar purpose, which is Long Island Sound and water quality and how to make our water clear and clean and swimmable, and a wonderful thing for all of us.
That's terrific. I'm glad that's going to be part of it. But before, you were mentioning about the entertainment. And there are so many things that I do want to bring up about the event that will be on June 13th.
Right, from 11 to 5.
11 to 5. Up and down Mamaroneck Avenue from...
Well, we close Mamaroneck Avenue to traffic.
Yes.
So it's a pedestrian mall all the way from the train station at Halstead all the way through to the Post Road, and it goes straight down into the harbor. So that whole area is full of activities and things to see and do. And as you walk up from the harbor, you're actually walking up in time. And you'll come to the 1920s and see at the movie theater a tribute to movie making, silent movie making in Mamaroneck, with a tribute to D.W. Griffiths, who filmed movies here, and real silent movies playing silent comedies. And we brought someone from Manhattan, from MoMA, who is a film historian who plays along with these comedies. So that's going to be an exciting thing for everyone to do, experience their first silent movie.
And one of the things that I also want to bring up, I want to introduce Helen Rafferty. Thank you for joining us today. All of these events are wonderful, but all the entertainment, I understand, you put together.
Well, yes, I put it together with Judy Rosner and Rose Arvonio. We're kind of the entertainment troika for the event, and we've just had a really fun time doing it. This year, we took what worked from last year's entertainment and have kind of blown it up. We now have, I believe, a half a dozen different venues, starting with our grandstand just down from the train station, where we'll have a lot of our bigger acts and a lot of our larger bands. And as you go down the avenue, we have a USO canteen, as Carolyn mentioned, and there will be swing dancers, there will be rock and roll bands, a bluegrass band, we'll have a magician, we'll have a clown, we'll have the very well-known, I think, Clearwater Singing Chorus, which is coming to sing, and the marching band.
You told me that there would be stilt walkers?
Stilt walkers.
How fun is that?
It's a lot of fun, and you have to see the look on kids' faces when they just see the stilt walker and they start and look up and up and up and wonder, you know,
Okay.
is this person real?
Thank
what
you,
else
Helen.
will we have?
One
many,
thing
many
that
things.
is very important, Carolyn, that I'd like you to bring up, and that is there'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of people that turn out for this event. Where do you recommend people park?
Well, I'm glad you asked because, you know, everyone wonders where to go. We have 2 paid parking lots, which is Harbor Island Park and the tier parking lot, which is across from our village hall and the police station near the Emlyn Theater and the library. Those are 2 paid parking lots, but there are plenty of places to park for free.
Okay.
And we have the high school, and we're running a free shuttle bus from the high school parking lot, the lower lot, the Post Road lot. And we also have free parking at Mamaroneck Avenue School, and we're running a free shuttle from there. And it makes it easy. We're also, you can find street parking everywhere, and the train station is open for parking because it's a Sunday.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And again, I would like everybody to come out and be part of this wonderful event. Great music, great fun, great history, great time. And this will be June 13th from 11 to 5. Come on out and be part of Mamaroneck history.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
Have you noticed something strange at Harbor Island? For the inside scoop, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
What is behind all that bright orange netting at Harbor Island's East Basin? It's steel, that's what it is, and lots of it. Enough to redo the bulkhead there, a project that's been in the works for years. According to village manager Len Verrastro, the new bulkhead will be in place by June 13th, just in time for the historic street fair, and no, it will not interfere with boating in that area. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
And don't forget that the 15th annual LMC-TV Awards Night is this Wednesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. in the Emlyn Theater. Please come and join in the fun and festivities honoring those who have helped LMC-TV through another successful year. In fact, this year, LMC-TV will be honoring artistic activist Mary Louise Cox. She will receive the Mary Ann Sullivan Award for Overall Achievement in Community Television for 2 of LMC-TV's most innovative television series, Poetry Moments and Poetry Live. There will also be plenty of music, laughs, and the results of the 5th Almost Anything Goes short video contest. Admission is free, and we hope to see you there. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. And whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha, and we leave you with Harbor Island on a beautiful spring day. This should be beautiful.
A 100-unit complex is pitched to Mamaroneck Village.
Plans for flea park continue.
The beaches are open.
Tennis is coming this summer.
And don't forget about the Mamaroneck Village Street Fair. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Some of our local beaches are open, and here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schactel with the details.
Manor Beach is open. Even though the weather and the calendar haven't caught up to each other yet, Manor Beach has opened for the season, and you can go and spend the day. Many improvements will be easily noticed, such as the grooming and raking of the sand will be done more often. A new children's program has been added every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., and this program is supervised and organized by a recent college graduate and teacher, Lauren Weiss. Another new addition on the menu this summer will be at the food concession. Wraps and things on Palmer Avenue will be offered now, and there is still more news to report. Once again, Friday family nights are planned. From 4 p.m. till dusk, there will be volleyball on the beach, beautiful sunsets to see, and a special dinner menu. Manor Beach trustee Jeff Waxman was heard to tell the Gazette that he promised some special events. So, you can still become a new member or renew your existing membership. Come and take advantage of what Larchmont has to offer. We'll see you at the beach. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schactel.
From junkyard to apartment complex, that's the subject of a recent proposal presented to the Village of Mamaroneck Board for the property at 270 Waverly Avenue. Property owner Waverly Land Management has an agreement with Renew Properties, a development company based in New Rochelle, to convert the commercial junkyard into a residential complex for 90 to 100 families. Real estate attorney Paul Noto submitted a proposal to modify the zoning ordinance to allow residential development on the site. The village board agreed to forward a copy of the proposal to the planning board for preliminary review. If the planning board recommends further consideration of the proposal, then an environmental site plan would be required. Reaction from the village board was interested but cautious, recognizing that a junkyard is not the most environmentally positive use of the land, but also concerned about overcrowding in the area.
The Village of Larchmont is continuing its work on designs for the environmental area of Flint Park, despite the recent death of park planning consultant Monroe Eberlin. The entire village board met with a group on Monday, May 24th, to look over preliminary designs based on Mr. Eberlin's last set of notes. It seems the group would like to see some more creative solutions in order to keep the grounds as natural as possible. Suggestions included adding an entrance that tells people what the area is and creating mini habitats like a grassy marsh and a red maple grove. Next steps include contacting local landscape architects with waterfront experience and asking them to submit ideas and/or proposals. The current plan will be sent to the grantor to show that Larchmont is moving forward, and Mayor Bialo will continue speaking with people at the state level about the possibility of getting more grant money.
Tennis, anyone? Well, even if you don't play the game, you'll recognize the names of some very famous tennis players coming to Harbor Island in Mamaroneck this summer to play World Team Tennis. You may recall that last summer, the New York Sport Times brought tennis home to Harbor Island and will return for a second season here. But this summer, there will be no Big Mac verbal attacks, as last year's headliners, John and Patrick McEnroe, will not be returning as players. But don't despair, Monica Seles plans to be there, playing for the Sport Times in her first matches since the 2003 French Open and her foot injuries. The Sport Times will include last year's Rookie of the Year, B. Bialik, and Ruxandra Dragomir, Hermes Gaminal, and Joe Sirianni. John Roddick, tennis ace Andy's older brother, will coach the team. There'll be no love lost when the Sport Times face opponents at home like Anna Kournikova and the Kansas City Explorers on July 6th. Yes, I did say that you can see Anna Kournikova, and Martina Navratilova and the New York Buzz on July 17th, and many more. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster and from Sport Time by calling 777-5050 or on the web at www.newyorksporttimes.com.
Well, the Village of Mamaroneck makes some traffic decisions. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch with more.
The Times recently reported that the police in the Village of Mamaroneck will soon have a new tool to enforce weight limits on commercial trucks using local streets. Village manager Leonard Verrastro reported that at the May 24th board meeting in Mamaroneck, the police department said they purchased 6 scales to weigh commercial vehicles on village roads. Similar scales have been used in Harrison for 3 years, and officials there claim it's been very successful in enforcing the weight limit. When a truck is found to be too heavy, it has to be unloaded and escorted out of town. The scales cost the village $3,500 each and should be delivered this summer. Also at the May 24th meeting, village officials approved installing 11 new parking meters. They'll go on Van Ranst Place, which borders the newly renovated Columbus Park. And officials have also proposed a reduction in the fine for street cleaning violations from $50 to $25. A public hearing is scheduled for June 14th on a proposed local law which states that people who park in certain areas of the village during street cleaning hours will be subject to a minimum fine of $25, but a maximum fine of $250. That hearing will be in the courtroom of Village Hall on Mount Pleasant Avenue, next door to the police station. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
And don't forget that the 2nd annual Historic Harbor Street Fair in Mamaroneck Village is scheduled for Sunday, June 13th. Enjoy all the vendors and shows as you stroll along Mamaroneck Avenue and head down to the harbor. See you there.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you. But keep in mind, we will be going on summer hiatus.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Alyssha Miro.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Watch for our roundtable program airing this summer and find out how you can get involved.
I don't think that's in the director's handbook.
What?
Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News called News on the News. Hi, thank you for joining us. I'm Alyssha Miro, and I'm joined today by Jay Fiddleman and Caitlin Fajey, two volunteers here at the news show, and also MHS students. So I wanted to start asking you, what kind of media classes do you take at MHS?
Well, there is a class called MHS Info, MHS Information, and it's a daily news show which the whole class produces and directs and does every day for 8 minutes. And we give the whole school of news, like club news, sports games, everything in between. We show videos, we do interviews, and we learn about television production.
So you're behind the scenes and you're also in front of the camera?
Yeah, there's a very large assortment of different jobs. There's director, producer, anchor, interviewer, cameraman, tech director, sound, and it's a lot of fun to learn like all the different responsibilities of each job.
So everyone gets to experience those different roles, so you know what goes into producing a particular news program. So you start out in the high school. Now I know the school year is coming to an end, so now that you've completed this portion of your media training here at MHS, is there something else that you're going to go on to do next year?
Yeah, we're actually doing something very interesting.
Yeah.
We've kind of outgrown the video program. It's not a very long program. We took, Video 1, Introduction to Video, when we were freshmen, and we're about to complete MHS Info. And they're offering advanced video for next year, but we wanted to go above and beyond. So we are, there are 6 of us, Kate and I, and Josh Rothman, who's also very involved in LMC-TV. We're doing an independent study where we produce a news show similar to this, only kind of, like for the teens, by the teens, that gives, school news as well as local news as well as national news, like all the important things that teens in this community really need to know. And it's going to be produced pretty much like this one is, using the stuff that we learned here.
And do you have a name for your show yet?
Well, we were thinking about calling it Teen Talk, but that's kind of cheesy, and so we don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so that one's out.
Oh,
Right.
maybe. Yeah. But it's been really, we've learned so much from working on this new show. I know I don't normally come in front of the camera. I do a lot of technical stuff backstage, but it's going to be produced a lot like this is, where we work every day during a certain period, and then it's run every night the following week on LMC-TV.
Fairly similar. I mean, we record the show.
You guys go all in one night.
Yeah. We record it on Thursday nights in case anyone's interested in coming to volunteer. We get together around 7:30. Some people come around 8, depending on their schedule. But we record that one night. You're going to record it every single day, you're saying?
Right, because the periods...
portions of the show.
Different portions, right. And the periods are 50 minutes long or something like that. So in the end, and because of the drop block schedule, we only have it 4 days a week, and it ends up being about 3 hours a week that we have it.
Okay, very nice. Well, I mean, you did mention this new show and kind of tying that in. How did you wind up getting involved in Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News?
Well, the director, Jeff Montanaro, is our video teacher, and last year when we were freshmen, he said, well, if you're interested in television production, come down and volunteer. So we came down, and Jay does the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, and I started reporting.
So you use some of those things you've learned in the classroom situation, then here at night. You come here at night.
Yeah.
Like we said, 7:30 in the evening. Yeah. And yes, you've done a lot of stories. You've reported a lot, not just different school news. What are some of the things you've learned by volunteering here at the news show?
Well, I think it actually, while it's really important to learn how to do the basics and stuff in a classroom environment, it's such good hands-on experience. It's like one of the only ways to really learn how to do something which is so complicated, like working in the control room with all the different screens and buttons and knobs, and it's really just doing it that allows you to learn how to do it above and beyond, and go that extra step to make the show that much better.
And we appreciate your help behind the scenes too. And how about you, Caitlin? What's something that you've learned?
I think it's it's very hard, I think, to adjust to speaking into the camera. It's such a different thing to do, and I've learned a lot. What I've learned at the new show, it goes back into just like everyday life. Like it helps you speak better and keep better eye contact, and I think it really helps. And it also, on like a totally different aspect, it really it gets you much more involved in the community. You become so much more aware of what's going on, and you feel a real connection with everything.
I imagine a lot of the stories you have for MHS Info revolve around the school in particular, what's happening here at the high school. But then you have a chance to really get deep into the community, into other areas, and do stories about different things aside from just school news.
Right, that was one of our one of our main objectives in producing our show that we are planning on doing for next year, is that we want to really create like one completely, all-inclusive show that teens can watch, and it gives them the local news, national news, and school news, because MHS Info we're really pretty strict to just school news. Like, we don't even talk about the community. So I think our show's going to be a big success. It's combining them all. Right.
What's one of your favorite things about coming here on Thursday nights at 7:30?
I think it's fun to just watch it when it's finished. Like, I watch the news show sometimes, even though I was there, I know all the stories, but it's fun to watch the finished product, because you put so much time and energy into it, and it comes out looking great. So,
thank you. That's great. One of your favorite things? You've been involved now for, I think, over a year.
2 years almost.
2 years. Oh my gosh.
Well, it'll be like 2 years in November. But as Jay said, I love seeing the finished product, and also I learned so much from seeing what other people do, like when you anchor and when Maura does stuff and when Sven does stuff and when everybody does stuff. You take so much in and you get so much out of it, and it's really, really great.
Okay, wonderful. What would you say to someone who might be thinking about volunteering? It could be someone from the high school, but it could also be someone here who just happens to be watching this program and is thinking, oh, maybe I'd like to do that. What would you say to them?
I would say you should definitely come down and give it a try, because it's always good to give it a try, and you may just find something that you really enjoy, and that's what I did. I mean, I had some difficulty picking an elective when I was an incoming freshman, and I picked video, and then I just realized that was like the thing I like to do. So I volunteered at LMC, a lot of other TV shows and stuff. So,
and that's great. You got involved in other programs here at LMC-TV. Now, you both came with experience, but there's people out there who might be thinking, well, I don't have a background in that. What would you say to them about coming down to volunteer?
Well, I think it's important that even though you don't have a background, when I came here last year, I had never done anything before, and you learn to get the hang of it, and you improve a lot every time you do it, and it's really good practice, and eventually you'll learn how to do it the same way every time, and it's a lot of fun, and you'll learn to love it.
I think it's important to tell our viewers that there's lots of different opportunities. Just like you in class, you learn all the different roles. When you come down here, if you're more comfortable behind the scenes, you can learn how to operate a camera. You can run the teleprompter. There's lots of opportunities behind the scenes. And then there's opportunities in front of the camera as well. You can be a news reporter. We have an assignment editor who will give you stories to then go and research. And some people even like to go and research stories on their own, bring out their camera, tape a story, and bring it in. We really like that too.
Right. It's always good to have, it's called B-roll. Like, I know you know that.
It makes the story, the show more visually exciting when we have people going out and filming different things in the community that tie into the stories that we're sharing with our audience. And we've been doing this for 16 years this August, so we're so glad to have you aboard, and we hope that more students at MHS will consider it, and then some of the members of our community. And I want to thank you for joining us, Jay and Caitlin, and have a wonderful summer.
Yes, you too.
You too.
back. I'm Maura Carlin, and our roundtable will continue now, this time a table of people with somewhat more life experience, myself included, and I'm joined by veteran LMC-TV community news personnel, Christina Bolger and Mike Witsch. Thanks for joining me this evening.
Pleasure.
You're welcome.
Now, you guys have both been involved in this show for on and off or behind the scenes for quite a while. Christina, why don't we start with you? Why don't you tell us when you came here and what you've done?
Okay, well, I started in '93, and again, it was all on and off, and then it was pretty consistent. And I used to, as I was saying earlier, I used to drive around with the studio camera in the trunk of my car to get live footage of what was going on in the community. And
always ready to catch that
story.
Oh
yeah, I was ready. And I used to do a question of the week interview and go to the local supermarkets and the library and the post office, and people began to, become familiar with who I was. And done a lot of stories over the years. And
you've been honored by LMC also.
Yeah, I won the Volunteer of the Year award, and I was very honored to get that award. They only give it once a year to one person. So
That's wonderful.
It was quite an honor.
And well deserved.
Thank you. Yes.
Now, Mike, you have been at the school for
I started
while
at the school as a teacher in 1972 and just retired in 2002. So,
but you've been in this business,
I've been
TV.
Yes, for quite a long time.
You were the media teacher, is that?
I taught video production.
And how did you get involved in the news show?
Well, I got involved in the news show originally when it started because we were sharing the set, the students in the morning and the news crew from LMC at night. And so we couldn't do things during the day that would mess things up at night and vice versa. So it was a nice arrangement, and I would be talking to Jeff or to Bill Littauer or Roger Norham, who were involved in those early years, several times during the week. But now it seems like I've sort of taken over what you were doing, because this is the newest generation of camcorder.
It's
this
half
is
the
digital.
size of the camera that I lugged around.
Right.
Yeah,
so when I need one of these to do a story, based on what the producer says are the stories of the week, I'll go to Studio 1 or Studio 2, and I'll borrow one of these for a couple days and go shoot some footage, and then it'll be edited into the story.
Right. Mike does most of our B-roll when we need that background roll, and you see the pictures. This is our man.
I want to know how many people out there watching know what B-roll is. I'm not going to say.
Well, it stands for beauty roll, doesn't it?
No, well, no.
Well, you helped me with the story of the fire at 604 Tompkins Avenue.
Yes.
I remember we got a lot of great footage of that.
Well, it actually serves to bring the audience to the location. I mean, it's much more, it's a visual story anyway, a tragedy, but still a visual story. And when we were able to go inside the building, because you had your valuable contacts there, that was a pretty horrific scene.
Yeah, and it let the community, they'd certainly heard about it, but they became more aware of the needs of the victims of the fire and where it was, and it put a face behind
the name.
And
Exactly.
let people really see
the
exactly,
damage. Because they really needed a lot of help, and they had a fundraiser, and we covered that. And as Mike said, we covered the footage of the actual fire and the damage that was done and how much everyone lost. And so.
Well, since Mike, you've been involved for a while, and you too, Christina, what have you seen as some of the biggest changes since the show's
Well, one is the technology. I mean, this little camera, I couldn't even dream about several years ago. This is completely digital and will record an hour's worth of footage, and the battery lasts longer than the tape does.
Those are pretty awesome machines.
Yeah, and they're readily available from LMC, and that's one big change. And also the change of faces. I wanted to keep my hands in production even when I retired, so it was logical, I thought, to come down and volunteer, and I had some expertise in things over the years that I've learned. So.
But I thought you were mostly behind the camera before, and now we're seeing your face in front of the camera. I wanted to know what made you make that jump.
If there are any former students out there, they will tell you that there were that I relished being in front of the camera. I didn't do it too often.
Oh.
I used to do I show people how to make wreaths at holiday time. And I think in the LMC library there must be 10 of those tapes going back to when I had more hair and even more hair, or less weight and less weight. But no, I get a kick going in front of the camera. It's nice.
And what
fun.
keeps you coming back, Christina?
Well, I like being in front of the camera also, but why I keep coming back is because to make the community aware of what's going on in their own community, and also to help a lot of local merchants that come in and they start a new business, you know, whether it be a restaurant, a beauty salon, or a doctor comes in, and people are not familiar or unaware that the establishment even exists.
Right.
And so I enjoy, you know, helping the community and the new merchants in that way as well.
And we should probably use this opportunity to tell everyone, if you have information or a story or
Right.
something you want us to cover, or
Or videotape.
Right.
or you know that you want us to tell the community about, you
Right.
should contact us, and I guess you can call the studio at 698-6808, and they'll put you in touch with someone who can, you know, get a story going on it.
Right. Yeah, there was a doctor that we had interviewed, Dr. Charles Moretti. He's a podiatrist and helps out with, he has a shoe program where people donate.
I was there.
Right.
I got
You
lots
take
of
the
pictures of
footage,
shoes.
right,
yes,
exactly.
lots of shoes.
Exactly. And again, that's, you know, bringing the community, heighten the awareness of the needs of the shoes. But he had mentioned to me that he would like to do a show, and you know, also to help the community, because it's that time of year where the children are playing sports and they're having a lot of difficulties or injuries with their feet. And he said, you know, would you be interested, you know, where you could interview me and I could, you know, inform the community about certain topics about foot problems with children and teenagers. And I said, sure. Well, he said, how do we do that? And so we have to, yes, I'll do it, but also we have to get a producer, and we have to get, you know, whether it's this studio or over at the Emlyn, that studio, and then get a studio and a producer. And
So you do a separate show on that?
Right,
Which is,
exactly.
of
So
course,
see,
Right.
through LMC
Right.
News, Dr. Morelli got his foot in the door.
Very good, very good.
Yes.
Yes.
Corny humor is also a hallmark here.
But anyone can get their foot in the door just by,
That's
like
right.
you said,
And
by
That's
calling.
true.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we would love to have more people involved, whether it's telling us your story or what you're working on, or coming and joining us, as Alyssha told us.
Right.
We do this on Thursday evenings in the LMC studios in the Mamaroneck High School, and just come by some Thursday night, and we'd love to have you. And I'd like to thank Mike and Christina for joining me here tonight.
My pleasure.
And since this is our last show, I guess I'll see you guys in the fall.
I guess so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back and playing musical chairs a bit. I'm Michael Witch, this time interviewing two of the senior staff. I think if we added all of our ages together, it would be some. No, we won't even go there. But to one side of me is Glenna Gray, whom you all know from the Real Estate Corner and other reportage. And on the other side is none other than Jeff Montanaro, who has been with LMC News since the beginning and is now the official executive producer, as well as the director, as well as the editor, and the spiritual and menu advisor as well.
And chief cook and bottle washer.
Chief cook and bottle washer.
Absolutely. I'm in the back doing the dishes when everybody leaves.
So let me start with beauty. May I?
Oh, you may.
Glenna. You pioneered Real Estate Corner, didn't you? There was no real estate news segment on the show until you started it.
We never had a real estate corner. We had a financial corner. We had a beauty corner.
We did have a real estate corner. Yeah, we had not a real estate corner per se, but we had people that were in real estate. There was I can't remember her name right now, but there was.
So you're going back in history now.
Right, I don't remember that. Not since I've been here, I don't think.
Yeah, Jane Ford Festigi did real estate with us for a while. She did a real estate review. She did a couple of shows.
But don't you agree that Glenna has taken it to new heights?
Yes, she has. She's covered every base twice.
Now you have some expertise in real estate, in real life.
I'm a broker for a realtor in this community. Although your license is for the whole state, but you tend to stay more in one area so that you develop an expertise in that area. And I work in Lower Westchester, but I'll go up to Osney. Wherever the client wishes to find a home, I will be there to help that client.
Shameless plug on her part, right? We should super your Jay, put the phone number for Glenna's real estate office under the phone.
White Good Realtors.
But so, do you pick your topics for the week based on something that happened during that week, or just something that you think people ought to know about?
Sometimes it's something that has happened during the week, but otherwise I pick things which sometimes are a little technical, but I prefer to find something that people are interested in, things that will help people. You know, I'm a retired teacher, so I'm always still teaching. Things that will help people, because there's still many people who don't understand how the business works. And we have many immigrants in our society now, so it's a constant revisiting of information. You know, and real estate in this area is fantastic.
Now, it's well known that you are pretty good with technology. You're a whiz on the computer, etc. And that's not true. That's a big lie. But I say that because you don't have to be too technologically savvy to be involved in LMC News, do you?
Oh, absolutely not. Oh, no. All you have to do is have the desire.
And there's a lot of help around.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay. So, Jeff.
Mike.
What's next for you? Let's skip the history and just go for next.
What's
What do
next?
you see in LMC's future? LMC News's future, I should say.
LMC News's future. Well,
Yeah.
the future is good. We have new reporters like Kate and Jay. We have our senior reporters like Glenna and myself.
Perspective. They bring perspective.
Right, and Alyssha and Maura and Christina and Missy. Don't forget Missy behind the scenes.
Missy and Sven, who's not here tonight.
Sven couldn't make it. That's what's great about the news is we always have somebody that can fill in. You know, we've been doing it now. August, like Alyssha said, August 1st will be 16 years, and I'm amazed, you know, over the years how many people have actually been through the show. Just in reporters alone, I think we're over 100 people have actually come and gone.
And some of them are now professionals in the business.
Yeah, there's Julio Clare, Ed Muir, well, Roger Norm, Billitower were professionals before they got to us. They were the ones who really started us off and gave us our boost and our education in journalism, and it was by fire. We learning by fire, I guess.
And now
get right in there.
earlier you heard Jay and Kate talk about a show that they're going to produce next year for teenagers.
Yeah, they're good. They're very good. They understand the basics, and they should produce good stuff. I'm looking forward to see it. Any kind of more news is good. Redundancy is always good in news, so I wish them well.
Yes, but I always say that this community, that this show, this whole station, network, really carries out democracy.
Yeah, LMC has done. We got to acknowledge Carrie Krams, and I think we're running out of
Eric
tape,
Lewis?
so I think we better wrap up.
Okay, well, there's a director for you. You can take him out of the control room, but you can't take him out of the director's seat. Well, we want to thank Eric Lewis and everybody else at LMC-TV who provides the facilities, of course, and provides the facilities for us to make our news. And to those of you who are watching, have a pleasant summer, and we'll see you in the fall, hopefully right here. Good night, or good afternoon, or good day, whenever you're watching the show.